Thank you for staying with us right here on Good Morning Kenya. My name is Vivian Degwa, and now we get into Family Check. And today on Family Check, our conversation is on identity crisis. When we're talking about an identity crisis, what are we talking about? Is there a specific group of people who tend to get into this particular crisis that we call identity crisis? Well, we're going to be looking more into that, and joining me just to expound on this conversation are my two amazing guests right here. On my far left, we have Pastor Paul Blessing, who is almost a resident here.
Thank you.
You've come on too many times on Family Check, and we're always glad to have you here.
Thank you.
And today, Pastor Paul has been joined by Mr. Dennis Motoko, who is an entrepreneur.
Amen. Thank
Welcome
you.
to Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Are you
Vivian.
feeling this morning?
Awesome. It's chilly, but we thank God.
We thank God for the rains as well.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
All right. Let's get straight into identity crisis. Before we even define what identity crisis is, how does one identify as themselves, as their true selves? How do I know my identity?
I think what you need to do, number one, you need first to understand what is your purpose. Why are you here? What have you been brought to this world to do? So once you understand who you are, then you are in a better place to understand what is your identity. Yeah.
Pastor Paul, what do you think?
Yes, exactly. As you have said, what I usually say is that a man is the thought of God. God, before you are formed in your mother's womb, God had you in mind. And everybody is unique. That's why even your fingerprint is unique, nobody like you. So God thought about you and brought you for a purpose through your parents, but to achieve something. But it's you to seek to know what that is, why you are here. You may live without knowing who you are, and you live a lie. So it is you to seek to realize. And what makes you know that identity is what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Until you get there, you are not yet got your identity.
And how does someone remain true to themselves? How does someone how does someone remain true to themselves?
Oh, you to remain true to yourself, first thing is to desire to know, because you will have goals in life. Yeah, you will have goals, and those goals you work towards them. You want to work towards working on your goals and making them come to pass. And that is exactly what makes you who you are.
Yeah.
And if you have not started working towards your goals, and you feel like there's emptiness in yourself, you feel there's something that you're trying to look for, you don't know. So as you feel like you're empty because you have not known what you're supposed to become. Yeah, and you become not happy, you agitated, sometimes become bitter, and others even get into drugs as they try to achieve who they are.
Yeah. And what is the importance of one knowing who they are? What is the importance of one having an identity of themselves?
When you have an identity, you are able to fulfill your purpose. There's a difference between a purpose and a calling. So if you understand who you are, there's a level of focus you have. There's a level of the road is clear. You're able to know this way. You're able to understand this is what is intended for me. This is what is expected of me. And it becomes easy for you rather than being not understanding who you really are.
And maybe can one have several identities? Like, can I say that I think I have different... Actually, now that I've said that, it's brought up a different question. Can we say that identity is the same as personality? Because there are people who would say, I think I have different personalities. I don't just have one personality. Can we equate identity to personality, or they are two different things?
They are not the same. Personality is what makes you achieve who you are. You may find people who have different personalities, or even the personality you have not come to know it. But as you continue to desire, these things come by desire. There's people who live just like, well, you sleep, you wake up, it is 10, it is 11, you don't have a plan. But when you start having that desire in your heart to know what you are supposed to become, even the personality that is in you, people will see it, and you also feel it. And people also may give you something wrong.
Yeah.
They see something different from who you are, or what you desire to become, and what people see is different. So that personality that you have is what people look at and give you an identity that is not you. So you need to pursue. And what brings you identity is what gives you joy. There's different, like let's say like working. There's a job and there is a job and there is work. Work is what God made you to do. What you are meant to do here on earth.
Yeah.
But job is what you are paid as salary. So if you got a job here at KBC, and you're supposed to be somewhere working, you will live here, we see you happy, but inside you, you have not found your purpose. So you are not happy. Until you achieve that what is meant to be work for you, you'll be still searching.
Yeah.
And you'll not be happy. But when you get that, let me give you an example. A particular person is a public person I can mention. Pitson is a singer. Pitson was a banker. And when he sang his first song, he told his mother, Niache niimbe. Because there's a song in him, and he feels, but he's counting money is not satisfied. So though he's given a lot of money, but he feels that when he goes to sing is when he achieves what he is. Yeah, that's an example.
Okay. So there cannot be several identities within a person. You only have one identity. You can have several personalities, but not identity. Is that what you've...
You know, you may get identities many as you continue to work on finding the real one. You may come out as different people that we see you as a presenter, okay? And maybe you are not. Okay, that's an identity that we have now. But what is the real? That is work now. You see, so you may have many on your way to the right, and you don't seek it, you may end up in where you are not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've mentioned purpose one too many times since we started this conversation. And maybe there's someone who's watching and they're wondering, okay, this purpose thing seems to be the way to go, seems to be how I get to know who I am. But how do I know what purpose I have in life? Is it difficult to know your purpose, and how do you go about finding your purpose in life?
Just to go back to your question about personality and identity, I feel personality is who you are when you personalize yourself, and identity is the person that you are thriving to be. So yes, you can, with purpose, you are able to understand who you are, you're able to identify who you are. And the first thing you need to do, number one, is also to understand, are you in a happy place? Whatever you're doing, for instance, if you're a news anchor, are you in your happy place? Are you doing it for the money? Are you doing it out of passion? Are you doing it because other people are doing it? Are you doing it because you qualified? There are so many people who did HR. They are not in offices. They are doing real estates. So they reached a point where they realized, I'm not in the purpose of human resource. I'm in the purpose of sales and marketing. That's where my passion is. That's where I thrive best. That's where I become who I am. That's where there are people who, when they meet people, they open up. There are people, when they meet people, ideas come. There are people, when they meet people, you even self-identify yourself. So identity, I would say, how to understand yourself and how to come to the point of purpose and knowing what your purpose in life is. You first have to have the passion and make sure that you are in your happy place. Yeah.
So your purpose is when you are in your happy place.
Yes.
That thing that when you are doing, your heart is just at peace. You just feel you're satisfied.
Yes.
That is your purpose.
That's your purpose.
All right.
Yeah.
Now let's get into identity crisis. How do we define an identity crisis? And when do we say that someone is having an identity crisis?
Let me as we come to that, I want to bring something in which could have been an identity crisis or something like that. I sing, apart from being a pastor. So when I came to KBC first time, I came as a singer. And let me just celebrate Kanzo. So we were talking with Kanzo and talking about my music, and she realized, no, this is a speaker. And she said, I think you can speak. Can we have next time as a speaker? It was bad like that. If I didn't come as a singer, I'll never be sitting here today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was bad, dear. And someone just felt like you can now hear Dennis and realize something in Dennis that you think you can bring out. So some of the personalities that we have and identities that we have and our purpose, someone will bring it out. But you have to come out to be seen. Yeah, you have to be the place where, as he has said, when you talk, things come out. Then you realize, I think this is exactly what I want, and you start seeing it that way. Now, crisis. If you have, let's say, I was supposed to be a speaker, as we are saying, as I do. I have a program that I call Star with Pearl, which is purely purpose. My mission is to cause you realize who you are. Usually, Penina, Pearl means Penina. And you go to the original Penina in the Bible. What did she do? She pushed on to a purpose, because she was just in the comfort of the husband and crying on their chest. But someone had to push her and make her cry to find where she was, because there was a reason for her to bring out that what it was. She was in crisis. She just wanted babies, but God wanted her to bring a child that was supposed to bring what? Solution to the nation of Israel. So she was in a crisis. Someone had to push you. Always for you to come out of that crisis, you may need someone to help you out of it. Yes.
Yeah. So that's what we call identity crisis, when you really are not sure.
Yeah, you don't exactly know. You think maybe what you're doing, you think you are doing the right, but that desire in you, that cry and dissatisfaction, that makes you feel like something is wrong. You are searching. You don't understand your values. You think this is your value, it's not your value. You think this is a goal you are taking to, and that's why you usually say, write your goals down. What you think that you want, because when you pray and you start writing your goals, then every morning read what you have written every day and speak it. As you speak, you are creating it. Then it will start coming out. But if you just sit and start seeking, people will come and tell you, we think you can do beauty. You could be a model. You could be a news anchor. So you are there. Is it news anchor? Is it modeling? So it's a crisis. Yeah,
because I'm thinking, you said your speaker bit, was birthed here. You had come as a singer, but then the lady who was interviewing you, Kadzo, saw something in you and saw that, wow, this lady can actually speak, she can be a speaker. So I'm imagining you took that, right? You took that positively. So I'm imagining how maybe someone may see me and think, oh, I think you can do this. And then another person says you can do this. That can also cause identity crisis to a person, because I'm like, I know I was meant to be here. I know I was meant to make change through journalism or something. But then there's someone else who's telling me, Vivian, I think you can do really well in singing. Vivian, someone can get confused.
From you. When she said that, I also confirmed in my spirit, and I took it up, and I became a speaker, and I have a program today. So it is not a must when people tell you do this, you do it. It has to be birthed from you. They will speak it, but you will feel it. Yes. You are still always the last person to make the decision.
How do you think you get to filter? You get to filter all this noise, I want to call them noise, all this noise where this one thinks this is what you're supposed to be doing, this one thinks. How are you able to just sit by yourself and filter?
Like I said, you must be in a happy place. So if you're in journalism and somebody comes to you and tells you that you can sing, and deep inside your heart, you even don't know how to say so that one, there are so many confusion. So maybe you need to understand what is an identity crisis. So identity crisis, from the word identity, is who are you. So when you understand who you are, now crisis is a state of uncertainty and a state of confusion. So, and you must understand that crisis can come to you anytime. Crisis is disaster, crisis is heartbreaks, crisis, it's diverse. So once you're in a place where you feel like you had asked, can you have 2 identities? Can you have 3 identities? Yes, you can. But are you in a place where you feel, I am into this? Because truly speaking, there are people who are in journalism and they can still sing. There are people who are in the marketplace and still they can do modeling. So it's true. It's an achievable thing. But the most important thing is to understand that crisis can come to you. And when crisis comes, you need to understand this is a state of confusion. So you need to sit back, be yourself, and ask yourself, where is my happy place? Where do I fit where can I do, if I'm in a place, can I become a better person? Can I do best? Can I impact the community?
Okay.
Can I impact the society? Or am I just seated there and, you know, and depressed and all those things? So, yeah, it's something that is achievable.
All
but
right.
the most important thing is just to understand who you are. Nobody can define you. A friend can come and tell you this, but you know yourself, you know your capability, and you know what you can go to which far and how much you can stretch yourself.
I love that. And on that note, we take a very short break. Don't you go too far. We'll be back. Welcome back. I've been told by my directors to give a big smile, and that's what I've just done. Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. Our topic is on identity crisis, and we've already touched base on it. And right now we are going to be getting into what are some of the causes of identity crisis and how do you realize that you're actually in this crisis. Pastor Pal, what are the causes of an identity crisis? What are some of the causes to this?
Okay. The first thing that is usually, let's say, bringing where you come from. Maybe what that is crying inside you to come out. It may not be in an environment where you are, where you've been brought up. And you know, some parents, like during our time, I don't know you guys now, but they will say, like, you'll find your father says, no, my daughter has to be a doctor. And then you lock a news anger inside a doctor.
Yeah.
That's a crisis. And because your parent has desire and you want to make them happy, you live a lie all the days of your life. Then you come to find you are never happy and you never achieve. Let's say like relationships. You may find someone maybe lost a romantic relationship and they went down. And they like, I can't find another one. I can't do something better than this. And they get crushed and like, all men are the same, all women are the same, and you are gone, you see. But if that person realizes maybe that was a wrong thing, and now you're supposed to come to the right one, now you were in a crisis and you didn't know. And maybe you stayed there for 20 years. But if God wants to bring you who you are supposed to become, you find that you went into it because of the environment. When time comes for you to get married, usually you get married where you are. If you are not seeking to get the real person, you find you were working in a place, you dated someone, and you found you got married. But that was your husband, not your wife. So you got in a crisis. That was a cause because of the environment. So you come to find maybe you needed to move to surplus and find what you are supposed to have.
Yeah.
That could be a cause. Parents could be a cause. And also maybe you are doing a degree somewhere, you do something good and their lecturers and everybody will say, no, we think we can recommend you. And even through attachment, you find you are in a bank somewhere and they say you are best worker, we want you in, but still you are not a banker. You see? So it depends on where you find yourself when you start seeking. But until, as he said, your happy place, you will never have happiness. And as we said also, those crises, this crisis can push you. And because of the seeking it up during crisis, you push to where you're supposed. As I was saying earlier, that in Japan they say crisis is an opportunity. So when you find yourself in a crisis, how do you work it out as you come out? It may become an opportunity to become greater and better. Yes, that's my view about it.
Yeah, maybe what are some of the causes that you may say may cause someone to have an identity crisis? Would you say peer pressure is one of them? Or maybe when your trajectory of life takes a detour, probably you were used to this way of life, like the way I'm working here, I'm used to this is my work, and then all of a sudden I lose the job. Can that cause an identity crisis as well?
Yeah, that's it's a legit cause and reason why people get into identity crisis. But I feel when one is in that, one of the causes is living a fake life. We've seen these boys of Kilimani, they call them Kilimani boys, living a fake life,
Yeah.
So when you live a fake life, you will enter a level of depression, you will enter a level of pressure, unnecessary pressure. So that one will make you get into an identity crisis. Other causes are, things like planning big. When you're planning big and you are not in a place and you don't have the zeal to endure, because the bigger the vision, the bigger the tests, Another cause is also self-esteem, because crisis, as I said earlier, it can occur anytime. So when it comes to you, if you don't have the right esteem to pull you through, then you'll reach a place where you'll close yourself, and you'll be in a place where you'll not have a place to escape. So yes, friends also can be a cause, because everybody will speak their voices. If you don't understand who you are, then you'll end up following what they say. So there are so many causes, but the most important thing is to understand yourself better. When you're in that place, nobody can tell you. They can give you suggestions, but you will make the decision is yours. Yeah.
You are the final person to make the decision of your life. And is there a particular age group that is mostly affected by identity crisis, or there's no age, it's not an age thing? Or would you say there's a particular age group, maybe teenagers, or there's no age to it?
Let me tell you, nowadays even the kids that are now, they can sit down and give you a view, then you wonder, at this age. So they have decided, they even understand themselves better than us.
Yeah.
You find someone, not that time they were saying, I want to become a pilot, just out of it. That child can have done research and can tell you even parts of an aircraft at that age. So you find, depending on exposure, I think exposure is the key word here. Because as I said, it depends where you grew up and what happened around you. The environmental factors around you will cause you maybe to realize you early, or start desiring to know who you are early. Or maybe you find at 50, 65, someone is saying at 60 has not built a house. So you needed to live somewhere. You don't have a house at 60. So it depends on what have you been doing. Busy doing things that are not giving you value, and not having a plan of where you want to go. So you find it's not about age. It's about, you may find someone at 22, they have a very big vision, and you find someone at 55, they don't even know exactly what they want to do. They're still seeking. So it depends on exposure, and also spirituality is very key. When you start seeking God and you seek Him in prayer, and you have those quiet times, there are ideas that God will drop in your mind that will cause you to realize who you are at a early age. But let you come to that knowledge at a very late age. Then you start seeking. You find you lost on time, but still you have to do it. So I think it's about when you wake up.
There's no age limit.
Yeah, it's when you wake up.
And there's something we hear, and that is known as midlife crisis. Is this a matter of an identity crisis?
Midlife.
Yeah.
At a certain age. Usually people say life starts at 40. So if you are 40, 42, you are 2 years old. But let me ask you.
Watu wakubali kuzeeka.
At life starts at 40. So for the 40 years, what have you been doing? So, but nowadays, you see these young people now. And you find someone they have a lot of intelligence that they sit down, bring out something, and you find they can move a nation at a very early age. But that time people they were discovering themselves at 40. So I don't know what is mid-age, because like in Kenya they say by law youth is 35. And there are those who say youth is 30 or 25, depending on what you call midlife. But let me tell you, even 55 is a youth, depending on what you call youth. I don't know what you meant. So maybe I did get you clearly.
You've just answered, because it's the same as what you said. Like, there's no age to it, really. Like, it does not matter the age. Like, everyone can get into an identity crisis at whatever age or at whatever stage in their lives. It just depends with what is coming their way to cause this identity crisis. And maybe, how do you know that I am actually in an identity crisis right now? How do I know that?
When I was growing up, just to echo the words of age, there used to be a saying that age is not a number. So that was a saying to give someone consolation that whatever you are doing is okay. So truly speaking, yes, age doesn't matter in terms of identity crisis. It can get anyone. But the middle age, as you're saying, they're the most affected because of the peer. Everyone wants to make life so fast. So you realize this lifestyle issue has become a very big identity crisis for the youth. So people should learn there's a process. People should learn, and every process has a progress. So, and you can't skip stage 4 and go to stage 9. You have to go through all the stages. So I think, yeah, age is not a matter anymore when it comes to crisis. It can affect anybody, but the youth, I think they're the most affected.
Yeah. How do I know I'm in an identity crisis?
When you are in a state of confusion, when you feel, you see, I'll speak as a boy child. Most men would rather die with our problems
than say
it.
Because that's how most of you are brought up.
Mwanaume
ni kuvumilia, unalia kwa nini wewe kama mwanamke.
Exactly. So I learned these things the hard way. And the day I realized that it's okay to cry as a man, then you reach a place where you feel relieved. You feel a place, because I came to realize even Jesus wept. So I'm a normal man. I have feelings. I can be
emotionally broken.
I can be emotionally broken. I can be, I'm in a relationship. I can lose. There are people who lose everything. Like me, there was a time I lost everything and I had to start again. So when you realize you're in that place where you're in a closed place where you can't share, when you feel lonely, you will start being in a place where you will start adjusting the new life called identity crisis, because you start losing yourself. You start having low self-esteem. You start being in a place where even your goals don't matter anymore. Even your light, your future, your aims, your career, it reaches a point where you now feel it can't be fulfilled. There's a lot of darkness there. So once you're in that cold corner, I feel that's when identity crisis starts building up.
Yeah, and we might take it lightly, but when an identity crisis is unresolved, most of the times that is where you get someone getting into depression, anxiety, and getting into, things that if they really identified that I'm going through a crisis earlier, they wouldn't get into that. And I don't know if you had anything to add on how to know that you're going into an identity crisis. If not, then how do we cope with an identity crisis?
Let me say this. You need now to sit down and look at those identities that are before you and you think are good, and build one and ground it. I say, this is me now. And when you do that now, the people around you, your relationships, maybe romantic, family, and the society, they will now come and embrace it. When you have surely made a decision and grounded it, it has to come from you. Like I would say, like after Corona, people lost who they were. And they had to discover something else that will make them be. Because maybe you were at a company, you were employed of 100 people, and you lost everything and you can't even put food on your table. And the children are looking at, hey, our father, surely. So you are like, how do I tell my family I'm not able to do this? So you may go into depression, but if you arise there and look at what else can I do, and identify with it, ground it, and move with it, God will give it grace. And the people around you will support you. Yes.
How do you get out of it? How do you get out of an identity crisis? And even as you work towards getting out of it, how do you cope when you are in that moment when you're in that moment where, okay, I have lost my sense of self. I don't really have any drive. I don't really know who I am really. So how do you cope when you are in that situation, and how do you get out of it?
I'll speak from experience. Number one, I normally have a rule I normally love sharing it when I go to and I get an opportunity to speak to men, is there's the 3 A's. The number 1 A is to accept. If you have lost, accept it's gone. If you've been conned in a business, accept it's gone. If you've lost a family, accept it's gone. Even when it comes to death, sometimes people take a lot of years to recover from death. So accept he's gone or she's gone. So when you accept, you are now calm down yourself. So you go to the next A, which is adjust. So you have to adjust to the environment. If you are leaving the INs and you've accepted there is no money, so you have to go down and start looking for another place to live. So yes, you could be living in Lavington, paying 150K per month rent, but when the job is gone, then that means that rent is no longer there. So you have to adjust yourself. Do I have to go to a middle class place, or do I have to go to the shags, refocus, re-identify myself and come back? And the 3rd A is to accelerate. Anytime there is an acceleration, even in the car, it means moving forward.
Yes.
So once you accelerate yourself, you're in a place now to move forward. And you'll move forward happily with no luggage, no baggage. You'll even feel lighter and your focus will be more clear. Wanasemanga, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
There always is.
Exactly.
There always is. Even if it's just the teeniest, just a flicker of it, but there's always light at the end of it.
And if that one is enough, because that's what we need. It's called hope.
Even the last thing to lose as a human being.
Exactly.
Imagine.
So hope is the most, even the Bible, I realize 99% of the Bible speaks about hope. It's just giving us hope. One day we'll go to heaven. One day you'll become prosperous, help someone so that you'll be helped. All those things. So hope is the most important thing in life. You can never lose everything. Lose money, you can get it. Lose a wife, you can get another one. Lose a husband. There are so many men out there. Okay? But if you lose hope, you have lost it.
Yeah.
Totally.
You are crushed.
You are crushed. You are finished. So I'll just say, just make sure you have hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. The triple A's.
The triple A.
Yeah.
How do you get out of an identity crisis from your point of view?
Okay, as what you said, of course, built me. And what I want to say is that, as you said, to be able to accept, adjust, and accelerate, you have to, you have to look at yourself. These things have gone, but you are still there.
Yeah.
If you still have your mind stable, you didn't lose your mind. You're still mentally stable. You still have your hands and your legs. You can start all over again. Me, I believe in starting again. And there's nothing that can stand on my way. I can start afresh and zero and stand up. Because I believe God has a vision that he has put in me. And to achieve it, I have now to show also to be, he wants to do it, but I have to avail myself. Now we have lost all this. Can I just stand up and say, now, I've lost on time, but time that you have is where you are standing. The time that is gone is gone. Now, you build on what you have, and they will accept. And let me tell you, it's about people. What do they say? Yeah, you have lost it. They will say, you had money. What will they say? Leave people alone. Be you. Yeah. So you need to realize there's a new you. The past you has gone. Is lost. So you create another one and you start afresh and just be you. Yeah. Accept it.
And you begin from now.
And begin from there and you will cope.
Yeah, and I love that you've talked about like creating it, because I had a question on, do you believe in finding and creating yourself?
Yeah.
One more time.
Yes.
So
that
it's possible for one to recreate their lives. Despite whatever it is that may have caused them.
Let me tell you, even a tree, when a tree is growing and it starts budding and giving out fruits, it will shed some leaves. So in this creating yourself, there are people that will have to drop around you. Yeah, there are people, the time comes that you have to drop some people and God will bring others, so that you can be able to bud and bring another branches and all that. So to be able to create yourself, there are things that you have to drop. so that you can get into this new kind of life that you have chosen to go.
Yeah, and
And go
intentionally
with it.
get
But let me
into
tell you, all in all, God is the first thing. We put God first, allow him to guide you. Have more time of meditating in the presence, quiet time. Because we spend a lot of time on internet, on Facebook, calling friends to encourage you, but just take like 3 hours and just have worship and relax there. I tell you, he will talk to you and give you guidance.
Just to add on that, yes, you can fall down not once, you can even fall down 10 times, but still wake up.
Yeah.
As the Bible says, Pastor Paul, a righteous man falleth 7 times and he still rose up.
Yeah.
Jesus, when he was carrying the cross, he fell 3 times and he still rose. So you can fall as many times as you want, but always have that hope to rise up. As long as your hope is diminished, then that's where the problem is. So if you're fallen like 10 times, don't give up. I've heard histories of these men and women who have made it in life. When you look at their stories, none of them just came and fell once. All of them failed like 5 times. Most of them reached to a place of breaking and despair and just giving up on their dreams. But that, the will, I call it the willpower. Are you willing to just go through? Because there is nothing that is new under the sun in God. God knows that you're going through this crisis.
Sure.
So if you are able, and God tells us his promises are yes and amen, and his promises are very clear that he will never leave us nor forsake us. So as long as you understand that I'm in this place, it's not new to God and it's not new to me, then you have the willpower to overcome it.
As we wind up on this discussion, if you are around someone who's going through an identity crisis, how do you help them around it?
Okay, the most important thing is to encouragement. Let me tell you, there's someone somewhere was just about to maybe to go suicidal, and it's one word from someone: you can make it. And it will like a veil that was upon their face drop and find, okay, so I can make it. It was said someone was found walking somewhere and found someone seated and he needed food and he needed clothes. He didn't have clothes and he didn't have food. And this guy was going to hang himself. Then he was asked by the person who almost like murder person, where are you going? So I'm going to hang myself. Okay, you hang yourself. Give me the clothes. Because if he needs clothes, you are clothed and you are going to hang yourself. So before you hang yourself, can you let me have the clothes?
Yeah.
So
That's a new one.
Yeah.
So what you are looking for, and you think, let me tell you, for example, even to swallow saliva, our pastor says, it is a miracle. There's someone who needs an operation to be able to swallow something. But you wake up, you eat, you drink, you walk, and you are complaining there's a lot of things you don't have. And you feel like you have come to the wall. But just sit down and ask. Start thanking God for your eyes, for your ears. Before you get to the waistline, you should fall down in praise and worship. Because there's so much that you have you don't see. Yes. Okay. So that person needs just an encouragement. There's something that you have.
Yeah.
You need to see what you have, then seek for what you need. But look at your goals. What do you want? What are your values? Talk to them like that, and they will come out.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining me for this particular discussion, Mr. Dennis and Pastor Paul. It was really great to have you on set.
Thank you.
All right, and this is where we call it a wrap right here on Good Morning Kenya. If you're going through an identity crisis, and maybe it is because of a loss of something, I want you to take the 3 A's that we've just been told. Take time, accept whatever it is that you're going through, then adjust through it, and then accelerate and find yourself one more time. I have been your host, Vivian Ndegwa. This right here is Good Morning Kenya. Until tomorrow, God willing, goodbye.